What's up, internet? My name's Ori. It is Monday, August 4th, day number 28 inside the Big Brother house. As renom plans are made, Mickey and Morgan almost break out into a full-on argument. Rachel pushes for Ava to go on the block, and Jimmy and Vinny start to pick up on the bad vibes. But what will Mickey do? Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Speaking of, we were live last night for our watch party. We didn't hit the 1,500 likes, but we did get 17,000 subscribers here on the channel. So I figured it was a nice way to, again, give back to the community for all the support you guys have given me. Overall, it was a fun episode. We saw the HOH competition take place, which wasn't as bad as I kind of thought it would be. It made a lot more sense watching it. I still have some issues with it, though. And then we also saw the interrogations take place, which I really wish we would have been able to see on the feeds. But overall, a really fun episode of Big Brother. Nominations will take place on Wednesday's episode, so we have a lot to look forward to on that one as well. But a little bit of a recap for you. If you haven't been keeping up with everything going on, Riley won HOH and looked at possibly nominating Mickey, Morgan, and Ashley. But Mickey used her power of the HOH takeover, which Riley failed to correctly identify. Mickey then took over control as HOH. She nominated Keanu, Kelly, and Riley, and Keanu came up huge in the veto competition. Now Mickey is strongly considering Jimmy as a possible renom. We kicked things off yesterday. Mickey actually met up with Will and Ashley. Mickey explained her reasonings for Jimmy as the possible renom. Ashley told her, like, Mickey, this is probably not the right move, right? You don't want to put Jimmy up. And she really pushed for Jimmy, or for, excuse me, Vince to be put up over Jimmy. Mickey says, listen, nothing, like that probably would be good either, because that would cause a lot of waves in the house if I put Vince up. And Mickey says, listen, nothing's set in stone, right? But just do me a favor, don't tell Rachel about this, which later Will and Ashley see as being very suspicious if they're supposed to be working with Rachel. Rachel ends up meeting with Mickey for a really weird convo. Rachel says that Ava should be put up. And at first I was like, whoa. And I thought I understood exactly where she was coming from with it, because one, Rachel and Ava, they're supposed to have a final two, which really I think is just Rachel kind of trying to set herself up just in case with Ava. But I think she also does like Ava. And I started to think I understood, because Ava, here's the thing, does make for a perfect pawn. She has no chance of leaving if she were to lose that blockbuster. And Rachel could have been just pitching for someone that she knew had no shot of going home, because she knows that if Jimmy were to go up on the block, he would probably be evicted this week. So I thought that was kind of what Rachel's thought process was here. And they were both like really emotional about it. And it seemed like it was just something that was just hard for them to even consider putting Ava on the block because of how much they love them. But here's the thing, that convo had a lot of subtext to it and a lot of things that were kind of left unspoken. First off, Rachel and Mickey, they both really seem to have kind of a hard time thinking of even the right way to approach this subject. And just the things they were saying, it felt like they were taking a lot of time to really even express their thoughts. Mickey barely looked at Rachel a lot of the time. She was so upset with this conversation. And it also was kind of weird because they just kept saying Ava over and over. And usually when you're having these conversations, it's almost natural to start saying she instead of Ava, almost like it was code for something else. A lot of the points that Rachel was bringing up on why Ava could be a good person to go on the block also line up more with Rachel. There were things that she was saying, like Ava not having a chance to win and not wanting Ava to rot in jury. Mickey also said she looks up to Ava. And look, maybe she does, but I also kind of find it hard to believe that Mickey would look up to Ava, whereas Mickey looking up to Rachel fits a lot better. And here is where you really catch on and kind of realize like, oh, this is exactly what they were talking about. They started talking about Ava and potentially her being close to Jimmy and even having some kind of a weird thing with Rachel, and Mickey doesn't really know what that is. And that would be news to me, right? Like, I didn't think that Ava was particularly close to Jimmy or Keanu in any meaningful way. And then this is where Rachel says, like, yeah, I don't know about Ava, but mine. And Mickey cuts her off there. And she says, we both know who Ava is, right? And they go, yeah. So that to me was when I really was like, all right, it's official. This was not about Rachel saying, hey, Ava should go up as a pawn. This was Rachel saying, I should be put up on the block, which is crazy to hear, right? And I think that was part of the reason why Rachel was even using the code of Ava, because she knows exactly how people would feel if they heard Rachel was volunteering for the block. And we also know, keep in mind, Rachel had just found out from Ashley just the other night that Mickey, Morgan, Vince, and Zach were all planning the jury, and they see Rachel as potentially being that first juror, and she is very mad at that. She would not want that to happen, right? That would be a complete waste for her to come on into this game and then just be the first juror and not even have a chance to even make it to the end. She doesn't think she has a great shot of winning and would have to do a lot to even get there, but half the battle is just getting there, and she wouldn't want to just kind of waste away in jury and just have to waste her time there 5 weeks or whatever, just kind of sitting in jury waiting for the vote for the finale. So it was kind of really interesting. And later, Rachel does tell Mickey, like, hey, that whole Ava thing, like that whole situation, forget about it. Let's just not even move on. And Mickey said, like, yeah, I didn't even give it a second thought. Like, that was put on the back burner and it wasn't even ever in consideration for being actually a real thing. And Rachel does tell Mickey, she's like, listen, though, if you put Jimmy up, Jimmy will win the blockbuster. But if it's Kat, Riley's going to be all messed up in that competition. He's not going to be thinking straight, so he probably wouldn't win. Catherine probably wouldn't win it either. So Catherine would probably end up going, which also isn't necessarily good for Mickey's game. And she was continuing to try and push for Vince to be put up as the replacement nominee. Ashley ended up joining this conversation, and Mickey makes it like pretty clear she will not put Kat up on the block this week. She sees it kind of as like a waste of her HOH, especially a waste of her whole power and everything. And plus, she doesn't want to have potentially one, if not maybe two people coming on back into the game in Riley and Catherine, both gunning for her next week. When the real Ava had a chat with Mickey, they also go over the whole Jimmy scenario, maybe even potentially Vince. And Ava says, she's like, yeah, I think Jimmy's the bigger shot, but Vinny might be the safer one just because of how Jimmy potentially could act with everything. So Ava really doesn't take a side, but again, kind of saying like, yeah, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do either way. Jimmy headed up to have a chat with Mickey and Morgan, good old triple threat getting into action there. And it turned almost into an interrogation more than anything else. They started asking him about all the Keanu stuff and how it really went from Keanu and Jimmy having beef to all of a sudden now Mickey and Morgan is who Keanu was after. And Jimmy definitely picked up on the vibes here afterwards. Jimmy told Rachel he had a pretty good idea that he was going to be going up on the block, and that if he does, he promised good TV and fireworks, and something big was going to happen. He also mentioned that he had been feeling paranoid and even was having dreams that he was put up on the block and was evicted and heading home. So this was all things that he was kind of feeling and realizing that, yeah, I didn't get a good vibe from that conversation that I just had with Mickey and Morgan. Vince also, I think, could feel a little bit of a vibe that his name was being thrown around. He ended up telling Lauren that he was feeling really worried about everything. Vince was even saying that Mickey shouldn't even be the HOH right now. All she did was find a puzzle in the dark, and he wished that they had went harder by naming her to Riley. And this is where he actually confirms Zach told them that Mickey had it, but they did not push Mickey as hard, and they ended up pushing Ashley to make sure that Mickey had the HOH. We weren't 100% sure if Zach actually knew or not for sure that Mickey had it, but this kind of confirms that during the competition, he was able to kind of put two and two together. After Mickey was touching his head, the thing gets one and it was right there. He knows that was the spot where you would put the thing. So it's really kind of interesting that they knew this information, they realized it, and then thought, yeah, you know what? Let's have Mickey steal this HOH and keep it, instead of pushing and letting Riley know that Mickey was trying to steal his power. Mickey and Morgan ended up meeting, and this was another one too, where they're just kind of going over all of the situations on what they should do this week. And Mickey says to Morgan, like, listen, you might not like what I'm about to say, but I've narrowed it down to Catherine, Jimmy, or Vince. And she lays out all the pros and cons of Vince and Jimmy, especially Vince. Morgan pushes back really hard on pretty much everything Mickey is saying. Mickey then counters everything that Morgan is saying about Vince. A lot of stuff about how Vince is Morgan's like number one guy. And she's like, yeah, I don't trust him. And if he goes, maybe Lauren's closer to us, Zach's closer to us, Jimmy's going to cause a lot of trouble. This conversation was kind of bad. Like, they were really going after each other. Mickey was getting frustrated. Morgan was getting frustrated. It was so bad. I thought at one point Mickey might even just snap and say, you know what, Morgan, you're going up on the block. At one point she kind of snapped because she was like, well, okay, if not Vince, who am I putting up? Am I going to put Zach up, Morgan? Is that what I'm going to do? And it felt like a really contentious kind of little battle here from Mickey and Morgan. But it was not good. Eventually, though, they do kind of come to a decision that it would be Jimmy. I think even when Keanu had come on up and had a little conversation in the middle of this, that also kind of maybe swayed them just that tiniest little bit to head back to the Jimmy route. And this also could have maybe just been Mickey finally saying, like, you know what, Morgan is so against this, I better just stop. I'm not 100% sure because Mickey does a really good job of kind of hiding some of her true intentions. But I do think she might have gotten a little bit misted by Keanu and Riley this week into believing that she can trust them moving forward, even though they are clear enemies of her. And just because you have a deal with somebody when you're in power, it doesn't matter. And so many of these HOHs are doing it. This is probably the fourth HOH in a row that is just not doing what they really should and go after someone that's going to go after them, and instead ends up putting either an ally or just someone that is kind of a waste of their HOH while they think they're doing something big and crazy. And yeah, they are big and crazy moves, but these aren't necessarily the right moves. Vince and Zach ended up joining this conversation. Mickey drops the news that, you know, she's wanting to put Jimmy up on the block, which both of them support greatly, because she was like, are you worried about that? And Vince is like, are you kidding me? Oh, I'm jazzed. This is great news. And they go on about how, like, you know, even if he wants to start trouble and say anything, that Vince is like, blame me. I'll take the heat. He's like, he wants to start saying something, I'll say, hey, everybody raise your hand if you have an alliance with Jimmy. So Vince is like, I'll go right on at him. And they say that, listen, if he ends up losing that blockbuster and he's sitting there, they got 10 votes that are going to evict him. So that seems to be kind of the plan as of now, at least when Mickey is talking to Morgan, Vince, and Zach. Later on, though, as that conversation was happening, out in the backyard, Riley, Kat, and Ashley were sitting out on the hammock, kind of having a chat, just talking about all kinds of different stuff, how they're feeling right now. And I think Riley let his mask slip just a little bit, and he started talking about how upset he would really be with Mickey, how he kind of is upset with Mickey, and he would be even more upset if Catherine went up on the block. Catherine tells him, like, listen, after Ashley leaves, she's like, don't give people that kind of ammo. Don't give them rants that they can then go and report about how you're talking all this stuff about them. So he actually does have a little chat with Ashley, trying to kind of clear up some of that stuff. But he also went and have a chat with Mickey. And again, just trying to really nail down, like, hey, we got you here, right? You keep us safe. You don't put Catherine up on the block. And if I'm going to be gunning for that HOH and I'm going to make sure you're good, she tells him, like, I just really need you and Kelly to win this blockbuster, because whoever I put up, I need them to go home this week. So once again, is also seeming like she is taking some kind of big shot instead of just putting Catherine up on the block. Morgan actually plans to get up early and get ready with Mickey in the HOH room. And I think this is all a big attempt to try and block any attempts to sway Mickey off of this path of maybe trying to go for Vince, which Morgan definitely does not want to happen. And she wants to keep Jimmy as the one that Mickey is leaning towards. At the end of the day, it could end up being Jimmy. It could be Vince. It could go a lot of different ways right now. It could even end up being someone like Lauren, whose name was thrown out. Zach's name's been thrown out there. And now Ava. But I think that was really more for Rachel. So it could go a lot of different ways here. And potentially her best move, though, would be Catherine. Yeah, I get it. Riley's going to be upset, but he's already upset. You can't think that just because you have made a deal with somebody while you're in power, they're going to hold up to that deal once you're out of power. Mickey should even look at herself. She was the one who was like, yeah, Lauren could go up. Ashley was saying, yeah, Lauren could go up. Just last week, they were saying that that could be a possibility after they were making a deal with Lauren to keep Ashley safe. So they should realize, like, hey, you could bounce a check here in the BB house. Like, this isn't a thing that you have to hold up to. And if we take a look here at our allegiance chart, you can really see I have Jimmy over on Mickey and Morgan's side. Yes, he has been saying a lot of things about them. He has been stirring the pot with Keanu. That is absolutely true. Ashley's been doing the same thing, but also that's why Mickey and Morgan haven't been trusting in them as much, and it's why Ashley and Jimmy are the ones that are on the bottom of that side of the house. Again, I think that was kind of one of those things. We're like, oh, I kind of nailed that one. Jimmy is that low man on the totem pole on that side because of all this stuff that he's been doing. For Mickey, if she wanted to take a really good shot, she should go after the people who are on the other side of the house. The people that she put up, like Keanu, Riley, Kelly, they all are on the other side of the house. The other one that's connected with them the most would be Catherine. And you guarantee that, hey, if Kelly ends up losing the blockbuster, Kelly might go home, right? And that's still probably good for you because she is winning a lot of comps and probably would end up putting someone like Mickey or someone that Mickey cares about up on the block. Same thing with Riley and Keanu. Yes, they are starting to make some deals with Mickey right now, but just like last week when I said with Lauren making deals with Ashley and Mickey, you cannot trust these deals when you're in a position of power and someone will do and say whatever they need to get them out of danger. So I would say her best move would to be put up Catherine. If you really didn't want to put up Catherine, Lauren is sitting right there. If you don't want to waste your power and make a big move, Vince, Zach probably would be people that you should take a shot at. One of the things that Mickey kept saying is that not only is Vince having these one-on-ones with everybody, he's a winner, right? He's somebody that if he got to the end, people could vote for, and he's got connections all around the house, and she's not wrong on that aspect. So I do think Vince probably would be the best choice. It would be an exciting one at the very least, and it would probably be her best move. I do think the Catherine nomination would be a little bit boring. Yeah, we might get some fireworks with the Riley outburst, but overall, I also think Jimmy going up is a very exciting one for us as well. Imagine if Jimmy goes up on the block, wins the battle of the block, and then wins HOH. I don't know what he would end up doing in that situation, and I would love to see it take place. Either way, like I said, it could go Jimmy, it could go Vince, it could all wind back up on Catherine. We just don't know right now. Ceremony will take place today, and like I said, it does seem like Jimmy is the leading front runner at the moment, but things could change at any time here. As we know in the Big Brother house, things can definitely flip on a dime. That's pretty much what I got for you today. I'm excited to see what happens in the veto ceremony, and we'll see that all take place on Wednesday's episode. But what do you guys think? Do you think Mickey is making a big mistake going after someone like Jimmy? Should she take a bigger shot and go after someone like Vince, who actually probably would help her game even if it messes up a relationship she might have with Mickey. I think that's one that you could probably fix and repair, even if you did do that move. Or should she take more of kind of an easy, boringer way out, go after someone like Catherine, which could give us some fireworks with Riley? But overall, what are your thoughts on what Mickey should do this week? Let me know in those comments down below. Thank you guys all again so much for all the love and support you guys have given me here. We hit 17,000 subscribers on this channel, which is absolutely crazy. But if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. If you made it all the way through my ramblings to the end of this video, smash that like button. It lets the YouTube gods know what we're doing here is a good time. Check out all the links to all my socials, pinned comment, description down below. You can check out things like Twitter and Discord. Also, you can check out things like the Ori Fund. Help support Oris everywhere. Thank you guys all again so much. We will have more updates for you all throughout the season, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, Will! Yeah, Will!
Brought to you by White Claw.
Oh, no. White Claw.
Will, you can do your sponsorship ad.
I can. White Claw has a little buzz, tangerine flavor. I would like to White Claw, reach out to a brother.